In just 33 seconds, one Pennsylvania congresswoman with a law degree exposed a $3.9 million conspiracy that brought down America's Attorney General and FBI Director in the most heated congressional exchange in decades. Rip it. Madeleine Dean didn't need classified documents or secret sources. She asked 3 simple questions about an accidental DOJ email that Bondi and Kash Patel couldn't answer without admitting they had coordinated to obstruct a federal investigation. Cameras captured both officials' faces, turning red with anger before crumbling into panic as their lies unraveled in real time. The House Judiciary Committee chamber erupted in chaos. What did Dean reveal about that mysterious email that made 2 of Trump's most trusted allies choose between explosive rage and complete breakdown on live television? April 18, 2026, 4:22 p.m., room 221 of the Rayburn House office building. Late afternoon shadows stretched across polished mahogany, as what should have been routine oversight. Questioning was about to become the most explosive congressional confrontation in American political history. Madeleine Dean sat like a prosecutor who had spent weeks building an airtight case, royal blue blazer sharp as her legal arguments, silver reading glasses positioned precisely as she prepared to demolish 2 of the most powerful officials in federal government. At the witness table, Attorney General Bondi projected the imperious confidence of someone who believed her Justice Department position made her immune to serious congressional challenges. Charcoal suit pressed to intimidating perfection, American flag pin positioned like armor, briefcase containing what she assumed were unassailable talking points about prosecutorial independence and executive privilege. Beside her, FBI Director Kash Patel radiated bureaucratic arrogance, Navy suit tailored to project federal authority, FBI badge gleaming as he arranged classified folders that would soon become evidence of systematic corruption. Behind them sat 12 government lawyers, 7 from Justice, 4 from FBI, and 1 White House counsel representative. Their mission was protecting both officials from congressional questioning about controversial investigative decisions, using national security claims and separation of powers arguments. What they hadn't anticipated was facing a former prosecutor who understood exactly how to trigger defensive reactions that would expose coordinated lies. The hearing had been contentious from the start. Republican committee members aggressively defended Bondi and Patel's tough law enforcement policies and constitutional interpretation. Democratic members pressed hard on civil liberties concerns and prosecutorial independence questions. But no one expected the controlled fury that was about to erupt when Dean began her questioning about one specific email that both officials desperately wanted to keep buried. The morning preparation had been intensive. Dean's legal team had spent weeks analyzing DOJ communication patterns and FBI coordination protocols, uncovering evidence of systematic coordination that violated federal investigation guidelines. Congresswoman, her chief counsel had warned during final briefing, if this email chain is authentic, we're about to expose obstruction of justice at the highest levels. Both Bondi and Patel will face immediate calls for resignation and potential federal prosecution. At exactly 4:22 p.m., Chairman Jim Jordan recognized Congresswoman Dean for her questioning period. The gentlewoman from Pennsylvania is recognized for 5 minutes. The time allocation seemed routine, but Dean would need less than 1 minute to trigger the most explosive breakdown in congressional hearing history. Dean opened with deceptive calm, her voice carrying the controlled precision of someone who had prosecuted federal corruption cases for years before entering Congress. Attorney General Bondi, Director Patel, thank you both for your testimony today about DOJ-FBI coordination protocols. I'd like to ask about a specific communication that occurred between your offices last month. Both witnesses tensed slightly. Communication questions were dangerous territory that could expose internal coordination and decision-making processes they preferred to keep confidential. Congresswoman, Bondi replied, with practiced authority, as you know, DOJ and FBI coordination involves sensitive investigative matters that require careful handling to protect ongoing prosecutions and maintain the integrity of federal law enforcement operations. Patel nodded supportively. The FBI works closely with Justice Department prosecutors to ensure all investigations follow proper legal procedures while protecting sensitive intelligence sources and methods that could be compromised by premature disclosure. Their coordinated responses sounded defensive and evasive. Exactly the kind of bureaucratic stonewalling that triggered Dean's prosecutorial instincts. "I appreciate those general principles," Dean said with a slight edge to her voice. "But I'm asking about one specific email." Attorney General Bondi, on March 15th. "Did you send an email to Director Patel with the subject line, 'Immediate action required'? Hunter Biden investigation?" The question was direct and specific, referencing what appeared to be a routine investigative communication. Both witnesses' expressions immediately hardened. "Congresswoman," Bondi responded with increasing irritation, "I cannot discuss specific investigative communications that may involve ongoing prosecutorial decisions or sensitive law enforcement operations that could be compromised by congressional disclosure." "Cannot discuss," Dean repeated with growing intensity. "Attorney General, this email was accidentally sent to 17 additional recipients, including 3 Democratic senators' offices. So it's not exactly confidential anymore, is it?" The revelation was explosive. The supposedly secret DOJ-FBI coordination had been inadvertently disclosed to Congress, making it fair game for oversight questioning. Patel attempted to rescue his colleague. "Congresswoman, regardless of any accidental disclosure, FBI investigative communications remain protected by law enforcement privilege and cannot be discussed in open congressional hearings without compromising operational security." "Operational security?" Dean shot back with prosecutorial precision. "Director, let me read exactly what operational security you were protecting." She opened a manila folder and lifted a document clearly marked with DOJ letterhead. Both witnesses' faces immediately flushed with anger and panic as they recognized their own correspondent. This email from Attorney General Bondi to Director Patel, dated March 15, 2026, states, Dean began reading with devastating clarity. Quote, "Kash, we need to immediately shut down any FBI investigation into Hunter Biden's laptop before it exposes our own communications with Ukrainian officials. The president has made clear this investigation cannot proceed beyond the election. Find legal justification for closing all related cases within 48 hours." End quote. The chamber exploded. The Attorney General had ordered the FBI director to shut down a federal investigation for political reasons. Following direct presidential orders, political interference, Dean emphasized with controlled fury. "Attorney General Bondi, you ordered the FBI director to close federal investigations based on electoral timing, not legal evidence. Is this your understanding of prosecutorial independence?" Bondi's face was now visibly red with rage. "Congresswoman, that email is taken completely out of context and misrepresents routine prosecutorial coordination discussions that occur regularly between DOJ and FBI regarding resource allocation and investigative priorities." The shouting response was exactly what Dean had been hoping for. Anger revealed truth that careful preparation could hide. Out of context? Dean shot back immediately, her voice rising to match Bondi's fury. "Attorney General, let me provide more context." She lifted a second document, this one marked with FBI letterhead. "This is Director Patel's response email. Sent 23 minutes later." Patel was now visibly sweating, clearly recognizing his own classified correspondence. Director Patel's email states, Dean read with relentless precision, and I quote, "Pam, understood. I've instructed all field offices to suspend Hunter Biden-related investigations, effective immediately. Agents have been told to classify all evidence as too sensitive for prosecution. We've also identified $3.9 million in Ukrainian payments that will bury in classified files. The president's electoral timeline will be protected." End quote. The revelation was devastating. The FBI director had admitted to burying evidence and suspending investigations to protect electoral outcomes. Social media exploded as viewers watched two of America's top law enforcement officials exposed as participants in systematic obstruction of justice. An email gate began trending alongside Dean destroyed and Bondi Patel. The story was erupting beyond the hearing room into a constitutional crisis about prosecutorial independence, $3.9 million in Ukrainian payments. Dean emphasized with prosecutorial momentum. Director Patel, you ordered FBI agents to bury financial evidence to protect the president's electoral timeline. Is this your understanding of federal law enforcement? Patel's composure completely shattered. Congresswoman, you are completely mischaracterizing routine investigative coordination and resource management decisions that are made daily throughout federal law enforcement agencies. He shouted, his voice cracking with stress. Routine coordination, Dean fired back, her own voice now rising with controlled outrage. Let me read you the follow-up email that shows just how routine this coordination was. She lifted a third document, this one marked urgent, presidential directive, that made both witnesses look physically ill. This email from White House counsel to both of you, sent the same day, states, Pam and Kash, the president appreciates your immediate action on the Hunter investigation. The $3.9 million Ukrainian evidence must remain buried until after the 2026 midterms. Any agent who discusses these cases will face immediate termination and security clearance revocation. This directive comes directly from the Oval Office. End quote. The final revelation was constitutional dynamite. The president had directly ordered federal law enforcement to bury evidence for electoral purposes. Direct from the Oval Office, Dean concluded with barely contained fury. You both followed presidential orders to obstruct federal investigations and bury financial evidence. You've turned the Justice Department and FBI into political weapons. The heated exchange had reached a breaking point. Both witnesses were now shouting simultaneously, their coordinated defense completely shattered. This is outrageous harassment. Bondi screamed, her face red with rage. Congressional Democrats are weaponizing oversight to attack the president. These are routine law enforcement decisions. Patel yelled over her, sweat visible on his forehead. Congress has no authority to interfere with ongoing investigations. Routine? Dean shouted back, standing from her chair with prosecutorial fury. You call burying $3.9 million in evidence routine? You call following presidential orders to shut down investigations routine? The chamber was in complete chaos. Committee members were shouting over each other. Television cameras captured the complete breakdown of congressional decorum, as three of America's most powerful officials screamed at each other on live television. Both of you swore oaths to uphold justice and defend the Constitution, Dean continued, her voice carrying over the chaos. Instead, you've systematically corrupted federal law enforcement to protect one man's electoral prospects. How dare you question our integrity? Bondi screamed, completely losing control. We have served this nation with honor, while you engage in partisan witch hunts. Honor? Dean fired back with devastating precision. You call burying evidence honor? You call obstructing justice honor? You call following illegal presidential orders honor? The heated clash continued for nearly a minute, with both witnesses completely losing their composure as Dean's prosecutorial assault demolished their coordinated defense. Cameras captured every moment of their public breakdown as they realized their careers were being destroyed in real time. Finally, Chairman Jordan gavelled desperately for order, but the damage was complete. Both Bondi and Patel sat in defeated silence, their shouting match having confirmed everything Dean had accused them of. I yield back my time, Dean said quietly, her prosecutorial work complete. The chamber remained in stunned silence as the full scope of corruption became clear. Two of Trump's most trusted officials had publicly confirmed that they had obstructed federal investigations, following direct presidential orders, all while screaming about their integrity on live television. Within hours of the heated confrontation, the political earthquake was reshaping Washington. House Speaker Mike Johnson announced immediate impeachment hearings for both officials. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called for special prosecutor appointment to investigate the entire chain of obstruction from the Oval Office down. That evening, as America processed the most explosive congressional confrontation in modern history, one thing was crystal clear. Madeleine Dean had accomplished something unprecedented. She had used prosecutorial precision to trigger such defensive fury that two of America's top officials had confessed to their crimes while screaming about their innocence. The 33 seconds that ended two careers would be remembered as the moment when heated